Hey y'all, before we hop in, I just want to thank everybody for all the love that I've received on my last video, Unlocking Your Power, the Power of Manifestation. If you haven't checked that out, make sure you do that, and I hope it resonates with you. So before I hop in, today's city is Nashville. I'm enjoying myself. I got some hot chicken from Hattie B's. I've been having some recommendations come in, so if anybody's out here in Nashville, feel free to comment recommendations from Nashville or for Nashville. I'm also excited because my t-shirt came in for my children's book. It has been a long time coming, and it's funny because this is going to actually tie into this topic today, this idea of fear of success, right? Not a fear of failure, two different things, which I'll get into. And I want to, this probably will be like a 4-part video, to be quite honest. It's just so much to say about this idea of fear of success. But it has to do with that because of my own fear of success and not like, opening the door and sharing with people, hey, I'm a children's book author, or I'm an artist, award-winning artist, I'm a traveling artist. These things that like were not, I would say like not weird, but like for me, being comfortable with sharing those things and the light that comes with that, or, spreading a light and then being comfortable with the light that comes back to us, or the reaping the the fruits of our labor, I would say. That was always kind of a little uncomfortable for me, especially starting out as an artist. So we're gonna jump right in. So that said, I do have notes just on things that I want to discuss, and as always, you'll know that one piece of hair just kind of messes with me. And this is like the ghetto method. I like ripped it off the side of a Starbucks, a Starbucks bag. So these are my notes. All right. So as I said, it might be a 4-part video, but fear of success, like, what is it? What is a fear of success? And I just want to talk to you all about the difference between a fear of failure and a fear of success, right? So a lot of times when we say I have a fear of success, which is not as commonly talked about, we say that we are afraid to fail, but that's not true. Someone who has a fear of failure will do any and everything in their power to make sure that they achieve whatever it is they achieve, right? So that means stepping on people. That means making the connections that you need to make. That means burning bridges. That means doing unsavory, unholy things. That means doing whatever you can to make sure you get that desired outcome, whether it be for money, whether it be for the fame, whether it be for success. And again, if that's your method, that's, great, awesome. But just to give you an idea about the idea or fear of failure, fear of failure is if I cannot fail. And a lot of times people who have a fear of success, they have that in the back of their mind. I don't want to fail. I don't want to fail, right? So they work hard. But in reality, they have a fear of success. And that fear of success is oftentimes essentially sabotaging yourself so that you don't get to the point that you really need to get to, right? And so that could be having an opportunity to grow your business, or having an opportunity to grow your artistry, or having an opportunity, let's just say having an opportunity and not responding to it, or not taking it, or passing it up, or really just doing absolutely nothing because you're afraid of the potential of something good coming out of that. Now, why would somebody do something like that, you may ask? We all want to be good artists. We all want to be, top of the top in our career. So if I am not afraid of failure, then why would I do something like that, right? So there's a couple reasons why you might do something like that, right? In my case, which I'll go into just to with a personal story. In my case, I have this fear of getting, or at least I used to, getting so far in my career and being alone, right? And that is partially due to me being first-generation college student. That is me being first-generation artist. There's a lot of firsts in my corner, and I have great family members that really support that. And then on the flip side, I have a lot of family members that don't support that, or at least they don't know how to support it in a positive way, right? So for me, having all of those like trailblazing moments, even now I'm like downplaying it by putting air quotes, right? It's just so normal. But all of those moments for me of downplaying my own successes led to, or have been a result of me having a fear of success. This idea of being the only one around, or from my circle, from my upbringing. And it starts to get into that idea of survivor's guilt as well, right? And we won't go into like too many of my personal experiences, not in this video at least, but survivor's guilt, right? Like, I don't deserve this thing. Like, I don't deserve to be on stage with the greats. I don't deserve to be a great. And that, going back to that video of the power manifestation, what are those beliefs that you're telling yourself, right? What are the things that you're thinking? And then they, as a result of what you're thinking and what you're believing, those play out in your actions when you're deciding not to take an opportunity, or you make a commitment and then you back out last minute, right? It's not always about being flaky or about being someone who is untrustworthy. It's about your own beliefs and your own fears of success that manifest in the way that you show up for your own career. Essentially, what I'm saying is, it's a moment of doubt. It's a moment of self-sabotage. It's a moment of not loving yourself and loving who God has destined you to be, because you're destined for the greatness that you've been conditioned and placed here to go after and receive. But if you're stopping yourself from doing those things, that is a fear of failure. Fear of success. Not a fear of failure. That's a fear of success, right? Because failing could be failing in the studio, right? You mix two chemicals together and you realize it doesn't work, and then you try again. But then going after those opportunities, or deciding you want to quit something because you are envisioning yourself being good at it and people not accepting you, or like whatever it is you're telling yourself as a result of being the oddball out, that is a fear of succeeding or doing something different. So I hope that made sense, just in the differences of the two. Like I said, I will make this a 4-part video, but before I get into that, I want to make this at least like 10 minutes ish. We'll say 10 minutes, because I can talk. So, personal story, I shared a little bit about that, just, me doing a lot of firsts, right? There's a lot of things that I've had to learn from mentors in my field. There's a lot of things that would scare me. There's a lot of things that still scare me when it comes to my own career. And again, sharing with you all like some of the things that have sparked out of me being an artist, and how that translates into that fear of loneliness and success. And as a result of, which I'll get into in the next part, but as a result of fearing loneliness and success, you sabotage yourself by allowing people into your life that are not good for your career, or put your career on hold, or definitely put your career on hold, or slow you down, right? Slow you down even more. And we say a lot of times, especially if we're not aware of those things, which I'll get into the idea of like awareness later, but if we're not aware of those things, we're allowing people to come in who see our success or see what we can do for them, and we keep them around a lot longer, even though they're not compatible with the lifestyle that we want to live, or even though they're not compatible with the morality and the way that we see, or the direction and the destination that we see ourselves in. We allow people to linger as a result of fearing that success, or fearing being alone, stepping into a light, or being in the space that we're supposed to be in as artists, as people who are doing something different, who are achieving different things, who are going out against the grain, and not just what we see on social media when it comes to like, success, or joy, or happiness, and sometimes, and I'm not a therapist, so I'm not, I'm just put that disclaimer. Sometimes that comes from, again, our background. I mentioned survivor's guilt. That comes from our parents. That comes from the words that we first hear when we're growing up. We're fighting for the approval of a parent. We're fighting for the approval of a loved one. We're fighting for the approval of friends, friends, loved ones, and parents that don't see the direction that we really want to go in and can't speak to that. And so therefore we're fighting for these things, and that's limiting and putting us in a space of fearing success, because we fear what people think about us if we do succeed in the field that we want to succeed in, or the path that we want to create for ourselves. So I want to just create that distinction. If you are not fearing that, and you are, like if you decide, that's when you get like people who are resenting their life, the people who their parents are like, you're going to grow up and you're going to be a doctor, or you're going to be an engineer, and you're going to be, this is my parent voice, you're going to be a doctor or an engineer. And there's nothing wrong with those things if you want to do it, right? But then you grow up and you do these things and you're resentful. And in the moments that you are trying to get into your artistic practice, or you're trying to pursue the arts, people are like, what are you going to do with that? Where are you going to get your money? They start to judge, right? And then the first sign of judgment, we cocoon ourselves, right? We go back into the shell instead of coming out into who we really are, who God really has designed us to be. And that's going into like fully going into yourself. And again, that's something that I struggled with when I first started as well, with my personal story. From being a nutritional sciences major, I originally wanted to go to culinary school, which I'll share just in another video. I made this video a long time ago, but another video where I talk about how I became an artist. But I originally wanted to go to culinary school. I've always been extremely artistic, and I ended up going to school for nutritional sciences. I freaking hated it, but I was being told it makes a lot of money. It was making everybody else happy because I was in the medical field. And I had a conversation with a good friend who just kind of was like, I went from engineering into music, and I am extremely happy, and essentially like bump what everybody else is saying. Like, I am enjoying this, and I'm finding a lot of success in my career because I love doing what I'm doing, and I'm eager to do it. And I had to ask myself, okay, like, I have more of a fear of failure with this other career that I'm doing rather than a fear of success. Like, I don't really fear being successful in this because I feel like it's proven to be successful, and everybody knows how to be successful in this. And it's boring to me, just in my personal experience, right? But with my art career, this is something that I don't know the direction I want to go in, but it's something that excites me, and it's something that, personally, I want to explore, and I'm having a good time with it. And to this day, like, I've created this life for myself that now people are asking me how I did it. Whereas before they were judging me about it, and now they're coming back saying, wow, like, you did it. That's so inspiring. How can I do that too? Right. And it gets me really, really, really excited to just share those stories with people. So again, that fear of success, the personal effects of it. I hope that resonated with somebody, just like the personal effects of not or continuing to have a fear of success in your career, which is resentment over time, regret, depression oftentimes, because you're trying to fill somebody else's shoes, often, again, a parent, loved one, family, or even friends. You're not being yourself. So that's when you start talking about get into some psychology here, but you start getting into the shadow self. The shadow self is when you hide the real version of yourself. And so you have this facade on, this mask of who you believe the world wants you to be. And now your inner self is fighting, it's conflicting. So, the mask is fighting with the true self because you feel like you won't be accepted. Your real self won't be accepted. But the more you do that, your body gets sick. You start to get sick because you start to believe that mask, but you're constantly fighting because deep down that you're not actually the masked character, but everybody believes you're the masked character. So it's a whole other thing, but I'll leave this as the first part of the video. And in the second part of the video, we'll get into this idea of loneliness and success, like why we fear being lonely with success, and then also being in a season of loneliness, being aware and asking yourself, are you afraid of failure or are you afraid of success? And then diving more into survivor's guilt. So that's our notes. And if I think of anything in between, like uploading this one and then the second one, we will get into that. All right. If you stay to the end, comment resonate. Actually, no. Comment success. Comment success. The first video was resonate. The second one will be comment success. So see you in the next one. Bye.